Hi everyone, it's Sid from the Batawa Summer Adventure Camps here, and today we're going to share 10 tips on how to safely forage. You might be asking, what is foraging? So foraging is when you go out into a wooded area or somewhere where there's lots of different wildlife, and you find different plants that you can use and that are actually edible. Okay, in our Tea Party blog post that we're going to link down below, we are making 4 different things to bring to the tea party. So one is cedar tea, which I have some cedar clippings here. The second one is a dandelion tea made from dandelions. The third is a Queen Anne's lace jelly, which is these made from these flowers. And then the last one is a wild berry scone. So the wild berries we've already picked, and they're like black and red wild raspberries. Okay, so let's get into our 10 tips. So the number 1 is adult supervision. We have this on the top of the list because we think it's really important that you need to be, if you're doing this with your family, children sometimes might not know what is edible and what is not edible. Okay, so we always recommend that children are definitely encouraged to participate and join in on the fun, but they should be with an adult who is educated in foraging. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is never consume something that you don't know what it is. Okay, so we have this 3-source rule that we've been talking about, and the 3-source rule is if you think something might be edible, you need to find 3 credible sources to back that up, okay, or to support that. So if you find 3 sources that you know are very credible, then you should be able to safely use that plant, okay? Number 3, don't take more than you need. So you see here I have just enough to make a little cup of cedar tea and enough here to make our jelly. So if you find a nice patch of something that you're going to use, just make sure that you're cutting it off and not using the whole crop. Okay, so just being respectful of nature that way. Okay, number 4 is try to do a little bit of research before you go foraging, and remember that some species of plants are endangered. So if they're endangered, you might want to leave them alone, because that means that there's not as many of those plants as there should be. So we want to try and protect those endangered species. Okay, and number 5, this one is super important too, and I think a lot of people might forget this one. Remember, when you're finding a place to go foraging, you shouldn't be trespassing. Okay, so if it's public property, that's okay, but you need to figure out if it's a private property, and if it is, then it's not safe to forage there. On our number 6 on our list is leave no trace behind. So that's just kind of a general rule that we always use when we're out in nature. So just make sure that you're not leaving things behind with you, and try to leave as little trace as possible when you're foraging. Okay. Number 6 is don't pick the roots. So some recipes that we're going to be showing you, like the dandelion tea, that one you could use the roots for. But the reason why we're suggesting that you don't use the roots is because if you pull the root from the plant, then that plant has no chance of growing back, right? The root is where it grows from and can keep growing. So if you pull that, then you're kind of destroying that little section, okay? So we recommend that you don't pick the roots. Okay, number 8 is never pick in a polluted area. So this could be along the roadsides. I know I've seen a lot of the Queen Anne's lace along roadsides, okay, and that's great, but if you pick there, they're going to be really dirty from the stuff coming off the road, and also the pollution from the cars. Or as well, thinking about farmland or agricultural land, a lot of times there's pesticides and different chemicals that they spray around those areas. So maybe that's not the best area to pick what you need. Okay, Number 9 on our list, and I actually brought these with me to show you, is use a pair of scissors or a sharp knife or pruners when you're cutting the plants. Because you want to leave, when you use something, a sharp object like this, you're making a clean cut, and that means that the plant can grow back. Okay, but if you just pick it off like from a tree, then that's going to harm the tree and it might not be able to grow back the way it should. Okay, and last up on our list of 10 is number 10. Be cautious. So even though some of these plants are edible, it doesn't mean that everyone can eat them, right? We're all different. We all have different allergies. Our bodies react differently. So just be aware of that and know that if something maybe causes your stomach to be upset or gives you some sort of a rash, you need to stay away from those, right? That's our body telling us that we're allergic to that plant, okay? All right, and just a few more quick things. So when you're out in the forest, just make sure that you have a hat if it's a sunny day, stay hydrated, sunglasses if it's really, really sunny, and of course, always be aware of your surroundings. So there's lots of ticks in this area, so we wear bug spray with DEET, and there is poison ivy and wild parsnip, so those are just things to be aware of. Okay, so I hope this list has been helpful for you and your family, and just remember to go to the link down below to find our tea party with all our recipes and awesome foraging fun. All right, see you next time. Bye.